Hey, Leo Burton, how's it going? Yeah, let's see. Let's, yeah. Just the same thing I always am, Leo. I'm just working on my comic pages, trying to get them done. Honestly, I'm trying to get them done by the end of next month, my pages, because I've got to script it, letter it, print it, and have it ready for a comic convention in September. So it's always the same thing, just drawing comic pages. Let's see. That's awesome, Leah. You done with your comic? That's cool. It's always a fun thing to finish a thing. Hi, Grace, the cosplayer. How are you? It's good to hear there, Grace. Good to hear. Dominator of Doms. Yes, this is part of my He-Man fan comic. That's all it ever is, because that's what I'm working on and trying to get done. So until I'm getting finished, and until I finish it, I won't be drawing anything else. And I do not play video games. I play Grand Theft Auto Online on occasion for fun, but I'm not a gamer. I don't play games, so the main reason being is I don't have enough time to waste playing video games when I've got art that needs to be done, so I'd rather be doing my art than sitting around playing video games. My top 5 favorite comics. Planetary, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Savage Dragon, certain eras of X-Men, and certain eras of Avengers. Oh, Mark, God, I forgot that thing was going on tonight. I can't believe I... That's right, I needed to watch that train wreck. I needed to watch Biden just fail miserably. What's up, Kevin?
Building a home, throwing in a line, and finding far-off campsites with the people you're closest to. Upgrade your truck, Jeep, or Bronco with over 1 million parts and accessories, and bring your truck to life. Real truck.
Shop the season's best deals during the Living Spaces 4th of July event. Get comfy on sofas that you don't need to be working.
Yeah, they're proving it as soon as they get out.
The television and radio stations of the United States and their affiliated stations are proud to
limit the people coming into our country and checking them to see if they're terrorists, if they've been let out of the country in their own country, and then let them in legally. Also, I would like to see a reform made on our health insurance.
Broba fight. How's it going?
Yeah, just now, reaping the repercussions from that, and that has just devastated the senior population. And also the economy, let's get that back up to speed here.
And how do you do that, Kaylin? What do you need to see for you to feel that the economy is better?
I need to see our prices come down, our middle class going back to work in jobs that they can make a living at, make their rent, make their insurance payments, whatever they need to have, they will be able to make. They're not making it now.
What's not affordable? Tell me some items that are not affordable in your opinion.
Food, gas, clothing, everything that I can think of off the top of my head is too expensive. All the prices have gone up, and it might be price value in some instances, and maybe we need to look into that.
Here, why do you think former president would do better on the economy than President Biden?
Oh, well, first of all, he has a business attitude.
Thanks, Mason Spogter. Appreciate that very much. Okay, comics. Not yet, but it's probably only a matter of time. Oh, that's great, because those are kind of the usuals. I actually have started thinking about doing like a video where I kind of answer some of those questions. Just, in general answer, but there will always be new folks that show up that kind of don't know and ask questions. That is funny though. Okay, comics. That's a funny observation because it is pretty standard stuff on my streams, isn't it? But it's all right. I don't mind it. It's always someone's first time. Like asking me what am I working on. So I'm like, it's a fan comic. It's of this. It's of that. They're like, oh, cool. Is it online somewhere? No, it's not online anywhere. It's guess the soundtrack to what movie? It's actually kind of close. Okay, comics. It's not right, but you're kind of in the right ballpark. Genre and era. So almost. There you go. You got it. I actually love this soundtrack. I love that movie. I keep having these like fantasies of like some studio executive gets a hold of me and says, "Hey, what movie property? We want to do a reboot or a sequel to an old 80s property. What would you want to do?" I'm like, "Oh my God, we're doing Flight of the Navigator. I've got a story all figured out. Let's go." This or The Last Starfighter. Hey Grace, welcome back. Brick Shop, how's it going? How you doing? Angel, how's it going for you? Yeah, there's part of me that kind of wants to watch the debate too. But I don't know how I'd do that and do this live stream at the same time. So I don't know. I might just catch the highlights later. Watch the train wreck in highlight form. Oh, it's at 9. Snoop Dogg's toothbrush. Hell yeah. Angel, you say you're an inspiration to my soul right now. I don't know if I want to keep doing art, but you make me want to. Well, dang, that's. Thank you for saying that. I know what it's like to get down on, doing artwork if you're not producing the kind of stuff that you want to, or at the level that you want to. Believe me, I get that. It's kind of hard to there's some kind of balance you have to find, I think, Angel, of keep working at it and keep practicing the fundamentals of whatever it is you're trying to do so you can kind of improve, but also at the same time, it's gotta be inspiring and fun. If it's not fun, if it's a chore, then, something's not going right. But sometimes learning the craft can be not, you have to do some of the shit you don't want to do. So it's all about finding a balance, I guess. But if I help inspire, keeping going in the right direction, it's one of the nicest compliments you could possibly give me. So thank you. If I help in any way. The Joy of Comics with Rob Dorr. I like that idea. I should actually start calling these streams The Joy of Comics. Happy little comic pages or something like that. That's funny. But yeah, watching other people's comics and drawing will make you feel like drawing more. I feel that way. I tend to have the same feeling often. But thanks, Angel. I hope you find some inspiration and I don't know if there's ever any questions or I don't know anything that I can offer up. You know, you can message me or ask questions here or go on our Discord. If you want some kind of inspiration, join the Discord that we've got going on. We got a bunch of us chatting over there, having some fun, talking about art, sharing our work. I recommend that. I put up a link, Angel, if you're interested, to that the Discord. I put it up like 3 days ago. I don't know if the link's still valid. I can do it again. I just have to, I can't do it while I'm on the stream right now. But yeah, if you're looking for inspiration, there's a bunch of really cool people. It's about 55 of us. Just talking, sharing artwork, giving feedback. Kind of fun. I mean, Brick, you don't have to have like something to show to join. You know what I mean? You could be like, I'm working on a thing, but you don't have to. It's not like a prerequisite. Person doesn't even have to draw if you want to just like be part of the conversation with people. It's just all fun. It's not like there's regulations on it or anything. So. Kevin, one drawing per day. Are you cast from the server?
Details. Now more defined.
Grace, what's your channel's age number that you need to be? We're family friendly. I mean, it's pretty family friendly over there, if that's what you're asking. It doesn't get. I don't think people get weird or anything like that, if that's what you're wondering. Yeah, there you go. Depends on your definition of family. That is true too. I get that, Grace. If you're saying you're not sure you want Discord like at all, I get it. But in the case of what we've got over there, there's nothing you have to do, or it's just a place to be able to post up work or look at other people's work and talk about like-minded stuff. I mean, it's kind of starts from people having found my channel and then kind of moving over there. So it's not like anything else is going on. It's just a place to talk that starts from the similarity of everyone kind of having been here. But that's all. Angel, it just comes from having been doing it a while. It's a combination of having done it for a while, so I kind of know what I'm doing. And there's a certain amount of just let it happen, just be free, just go, and let whatever comes out happen. Not be too stressed about it, which sounds dumb.
Can we get the AC fixed already?
I don't think I've ever put it in my description. I put up a link to it as a post on my YouTube page, and I did one just 3 days ago, but it might be expired. I could put one up again as soon as I get done here, unless someone sane shows up, and he's a moderator here, and he can share the link. But yeah, no stress, Grace. It's, if you just, give it a look, it's no big deal. Well, let's see. Grace, if I put up a link to it, you can follow it and just join, and that's it. We don't have to add you. It's just that the links that I put up kind of expire after a certain amount of time. So you can go back onto my YouTube page here and look at the posts, probably in the community tab, I think, if that's what it is. And there will be one there, but if you click on it, it might not take you there, because like I said, they expire after, I don't know what the time frame is. So it just might not be active at the moment. Oh, speaking of, there you go, Grace. There's my man, the magic man with the wrench. He's got the current link up right there because he is awesome. I knew I assigned him that role for a reason. The wrench of power.
Introducing the ultimate AI voiceover. Yep, like me. Go to artlist.io and get exclusive voices for your videos. Choose your voice, write your text, generate in seconds. Thor, except different. Nash Prod, finally someone who isn't scamming people. What do you mean? Like, how is, are you talking about like the live stream here, or I'm just kind of curious. Like, what scamming people have you seen? What do I need to be on the lookout for? The night is young. We may be all scammed soon. That's true. Alicia Henson. Grace, I guess that's possible. Like, you can put in, like, you don't even have to use your own name, as far as I understand. It's been a minute since I've done it. Anybody in there in chat that might be able to offer up any knowledge, but I think you could just put any generic username that you want. And because not a lot of people use their actual names. I can barely keep people straight sometimes. I'm like, who's this? Yeah. What someone's saying is saying. I don't remember having to do authentication through your email, or I don't know. I don't seem to remember it being difficult at all. Patrick, how's it going? It's a mystery, Patrick. We will see, or or maybe we won't see. I don't know. Hey, maybe I like that two-faced monster lady version of her, right? Who knows?
Hanson's windows, roofing, siding, gutters, bathtubs, and showers are guaranteed. Get 60% off installation or enjoy no interest and no.
I don't know, Grace. I mean, I don't think so. All right, Kevin, I got you, buddy. That special item with special content. Like, I know this comes up a lot, and people ask me, why the hell am I doing a thing I can't own? And it's just as simple as it's a story I wanted to tell, and that's it. I got no other explanation for it beyond I wanted to do it. I wanted to tell this Masters of the Universe story. I come up with it years ago. And I just sat there, and it just sat in my head, developing forever. And I was like, just sitting around. I'm like, well, I'm not making anything that's going to be seen by anybody. But I really like this story that I come up with. I would really like to see it wheeled into existence. And if you're a comic creator, I think most of us would probably agree and understand that we all have so many ideas coming out of our brains all the time. I've come up with a million stories, a million character concepts and things I would like to do. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let this one fade into obscurity where the only person who ever knew about it was just me and it's inside my head. I am going to make this thing. And I took it upon myself, as making this thing, I was going to use the best materials. I'm going to use the best paper, the best pens, the best ink, and I considered it practice. I'm just like, I don't have a sketchbook, I make a comic. And it's something I can't sell, but I'm just going to make this thing. I'm going to make it look as good as I can. Again, the idea being that this is just practice for the big show, the big game, which may or may not ever come, but I'll just work to get better. And at the same time, I'm making a comic and I'm telling a story that I want to. And again, I put so much effort into it. A lot of people don't seem to understand, why the hell would you do this thing that you can't ever own? I'm like, it doesn't matter. I wanted to make it. The end. That's it. And once I'm done with this, I am moving on to something of my own. Once I'm done with this story, Volume 6, I'm done. I'm out of it. There's probably not going to be anything else. I have like a little microscopic small backup story that I might see if I can con some other artists into maybe wanting to draw parts of, but the main thing is done after this, so it's over. But I've got a story that people can read, as opposed to the billions of people that I know that talk about all the things they're going to do and yet have nothing to show. So what's up, D-Man? Ink away, brother. Oh crap, he's here. Stop talking about him. Richard Copeland, hello. There's something you want to ask. Is comic book drawing similar to storyboarding for a film? I'd say it's certainly similar. It's not exactly the same thing. But I mean, you're using panels to tell a story. There's certain, similarities, but there's obviously big differences. Storyboarding can be rough and unfinished, and you're not worried about panel layout. In comics, you're worried about big panel, small panel. How was the story flow from top to bottom on a page? And in storyboarding, you just got similar sized boxes because it's all going to go up on a TV screen or a movie screen. So it's similar but different.
Upgrade your truck, Jeep, or Bronco to go to a new
When he was president, they were still killing people in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that. When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had the notion that we were this safe country. Truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have this decade, that none of any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
What the
President
fuck?
Trump, I want to follow up if I can. You
Am I
want
allowed to respond to him?
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you. I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
Not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for bounce back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. No, he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months. And then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing, and they don't know what they were doing. It was the worst, probably the worst administration in history. There's never been. And as
Joe
far as
Biden is
Afghanistan
old, even
is
compared to
concerned,
Rob.
I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
President Trump, over the last 8 years, under both of your administrations, the national debt soared to record highs. And according to a new nonpartisan analysis, President Trump, your administration approved $8.4 trillion in new debt, while so far, President Biden, you've approved $4.3 trillion in new debt. So, former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law are set to expire next year. You want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S. facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt, why should top earners and corporations pay even less in taxes than they do now?
Because the tax cuts spurred the greatest economy that we've ever seen just prior to COVID. And even after COVID, it was so strong that we were able to get through COVID much better than just about any other country. But we spurred, that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%, plus beyond that. We took in more revenue with much less tax, and companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country. The country was going like never before, and we were ready to start paying down debt. We were ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID. We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation with all of the therapeutics and all of the things that we came up with. We gave him something great. Remember, more people died under his administration, even though we had largely fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration, and we were right in the middle of it. Something which a lot of people don't.
I'd vote for Kevin too. And I get what you're saying there, Grace. But you know, I don't want to vote for someone just because it's a woman. I would vote for someone who's the best for the job, no matter who it is. And that's kind of what I look at. And if that means it's a woman, great, absolutely. Put someone in there like that. I have no problem with that at all. But it's just kind of like, who's the best for the job? Who will do the job the best? And so, and I know you're not suggesting otherwise, but yeah, Kevin, I'd vote for you too, brother. Start your campaign. We'll donate. I'll donate $1.
From prisons, jails, and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy our country.
President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about the national debt.
You have the largest national debt of any president for your period, number one. Number two, you've got $2 trillion tax cut benefiting the very wealthy. What I want to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillion. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they in fact pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just pay 24%, 25%, even on their homes, then they raise $500 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period.
Brick shop, dude, that's the wrong thing to say. Everyone go out and vote.
All those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our health.
It's important.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do the COVID. Excuse me, dealing with everything we have to do with.
A car in every pot and a chicken in every garage. You've already convinced me, Kevin.
Medicare, because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame. What's happened to our country in the last 4 years is not to be believed. Foreign countries are friends with a lot of people. They cannot believe what happened to the United States of America. They no longer respect it. They don't like us. We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people. What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Thank you, President Trump. Anna?
This is the first presidential election
Yeah.
since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v.
Right,
Wade.
definitely voting for Kevin.
The court ruled on yet another abortion case, temporarily allowing emergency abortions to continue in Idaho, despite that state's restricted ban. Former President Trump, you take credit for the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, which returned the issue of abortion to the states. However, the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking, complex but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted it back. The religious leaders. And what I did is with great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something.
I know it's not normal, D-Man,
Now, 10 years ago,
and I know you don't like it, but I actually want to listen into the debate, so
every legal
tonight,
scholar throughout the world,
that's what I'm doing.
the most respected, wanted it brought back to the states. I did that.
I know it's not exciting, and I try to keep politics out of that channel. Like, everyone can have their own opinion for sure, but it's kind of important, and I wanna hear what's going on.
Texas is different, Florida is different, but they're all making their own decisions right now. And right now, the states control it. That's the vote of the people. Like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions. I am a person that believes. And frankly, I think it's important to believe in the exceptions. Some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in that. But I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow your heart. But you have to get elected also. And because that has to do with other things. You got to get elected. The problem they have is they're radical because they will take the life of a child into
Brick Shop, I love that dude. Animate kids to get a haircut, then I'll vote for you. Oh, that's funny, man.
He said, we'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby, meaning we'll kill the baby. What happened is we brought it back to the states, and the country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
Thank you. President Biden?
Chair, the fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe on the side. Supported Roe. And that's this idea that they're all against it is just ridiculous. And this is the guy who said the state should be able to have it. You're a state where in 6 weeks, and you live in pregnant enough that you cannot see a doctor have you and have him decide on what your circumstances are when you need help. The idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn the civil rights back to the states. That each state has a different rule.
Well, thanks, Richard Copeland. I say this all the time, and I'm sure I'm a broken record, but I try my best. I'm not great, but I don't think I'm the worst, you know what I mean? I know I could always do better, so I'm always trying to learn. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
There have been many young women murdered by the same people he allows to come across our border. We have a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world, considered the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. And he opened it up, and these killers are coming into our country. And they are raping raping and killing women. And it's a terrible thing. As far as the abortion is concerned, it is now back with the states. The states are voting. In many cases, it's frankly a very liberal decision. In many cases, it's the opposite. But they're voting, and it's bringing it back to the vote of the people, which is what everybody wanted, including the founders if they knew about this issue, which frankly they didn't. But they would have, everybody wanted it brought back. Ronald Reagan wanted it brought back. He wasn't able to get it. Everybody wanted it brought back, and many presidents had tried to get it back. I was the one to do it. And again, this gives it the vote of the people, and that's where they wanted it. Every legal scholar wanted it that way.
Staying on the topic of abortion, President Biden, 7 states, I'll let you do that, this is the same topic. 7 states have no legal restrictions on how far into a pregnancy a woman can obtain an abortion. Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I support Roe v. Wade. It's had 3 trimesters. First time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor, between the woman and the state. The idea that the politicians, that the founders want the politicians to be the ones making decisions on women's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician is making a decision. A doctor should be making a decision. That's how it should be run. That's what you're going to do. Now, if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
You can take the life of the baby in the 9th month.
Well, thanks, OK Comics. Yeah, I do kind of rush through it in a way. My rapid fire inking, especially with that Hunt 102, sometimes gives it kind of a rough look. But also this character, like for example, her outfit's supposed to be tattered and rough, so like a rough inking style kind of works. And then She-Ra's all torn up, so I don't think a slick, clean style would necessarily work best here. Yeah, I'm learning. I'm trying to develop a sense of inking and trying to come up to the level of some of the other guys I know out there, like Chuck, who's been working with me. Trying to not embarrass myself in front of him too much.
51 years, and it was taken away because this guy became very conservative members on the Supreme Court. He takes credit for taking it away. What's he going to do? What's he going to do, in fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected, and the MAGA Republicans control the Congress, and they pass a universal ban on abortion, period, across the board, at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10 weeks, something very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that bill? I'll veto it. He'll sign it.
Thank you.
Let's bring on the issue of immigration and border security. President Biden, a record number of migrants have illegally crossed the southern border on your watch. Overwhelming border states and overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns. Given that, why should voters trust you to solve this crisis?
We worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement that not only changed all of that, it made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border. Who's the number that the border police are now? We significantly increased the number of sidewalks. Significantly, by the way, the border patrol endorsed me, endorsed my position. In addition to that, we found ourselves in a situation where when he was president,
Brick shops. I mean, it doesn't matter. See, it's sketchy inking, clean inking. It just depends on what fits the story or what the artist is capable of doing. Everyone's got kind of a different vibe. There's no right or wrong, really. It's just what fits best. And
40% fewer people coming across the border. Mainly, was President he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more sidewalks.
I really don't know what he said at the end of this. I think that's what he said. He would look. We have the safest border in the history of our country, but what we're going to do is legal. What we're going to do is illegal. We decided to open up our border, open up our country to people that are from prisons, people that are from mental institutions, insane asylum, terrorists. We have the largest number of terrorists coming into our country right now. All terrorists, all over the world, not just in South America, all over the world. They come from the Middle East, everywhere. All over the world they're pouring in. And this guy just left it open. And he didn't need legislation, because I didn't have legislation. I said, close the border. We have the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol, who was great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, who endorsed me for president. Random, just between. But look, we had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in history. There's never been anything like it. And people are dying all over the place, including the people that are coming up in Canada.
President Biden?
Thanks, Apple Sunshine. Appreciate it very, very much. Richard Copeland, you say your country, the UK, most of the comic shops are closing. That sucks. Why is that, do you think? Is there just not the market for it anymore?
That's the only terrorist affair. I'm not saying that no terrorist affair. From the idea we're acting in prison, we welcome the people. That's simply not true. No data supporting the state. Once again, he's exaggerating his mind.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration, you said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will deport every undocumented immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens, and including those who have lived here for decades? And if so, how will you do it?
Just 1 second, you said we killed 3 people. People we killed al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, the 2 greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world, and it had a huge impact on everything, not just border, on everything. He's the one that killed people with a bad war, including hundreds of thousands of people dying, and also killing our citizens when they come in. We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're killing our people in New York, in California, in every state in the Union.
All right, Grace, thanks for stopping in.
Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, people are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And you're reading it like these 3 incredible young girls over the last few days. One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and I just at the funeral for this girl, 12 years old. This is horrible what's taking place. What's taking place in our country, we're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And we have to get a lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast, because they're going to destroy our country. Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't like the military at all. And he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody did worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice, that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved.
Well, thanks, Apple Sunshine. I appreciate it.
Far the highest, and now it's down to less than half. Because he's done all these great things that we did. And I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by allowing all of these people to come in. And it's a very sad day.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said was a lie. Every single one. For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since they passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it's Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And he opposes, he did oppose that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq. And then went next home with burn pits, came back to stage 4 being West home. I was recently in France during the D-Day. And I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War II cemetery, World War I cemetery in Field. He was standing with a sports-star general, and he told us a lot about going there because they're not so losing as suckers. My son is not a loser, he's not a sucker. You're a sucker. You're the loser.
President Trump?
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. We put it in commercials. We notified them. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say, I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taking better care. I'm so glad this came up. And he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have. To think that I would confront generals and others saying suckers and losers. We had 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up, just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up, just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking. It's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son Hunter. It wasn't Russia
Apple
disinformation.
Sunshine, the comic. It's a Masters of the Universe fan comic.
Apologize to
So if you know He-Man, Masters of the Universe, it's just a fan comic I've been working on for years, and I've got quite a bit done into it. And it's just a passion project for me, just something I want to do.
Now or their family, the only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home, to their families, and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now. We're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right, thank you so much.
After the foreign policy, I want to begin with Russia's war against Ukraine, which is now in its third year. Former President Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he'll only end this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's terms acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy.
Yeah, okay, comics, right? Check. I know, D-Man, we were talking about this earlier, but there's always new people that show up.
They can't stand it.
You know,
Let's get that straight. And they like to
people who've never seen it and don't know, so I don't mind. You know,
Russia and Ukraine. If we had a real person-
never know. You might run into somebody who's interested in getting copies of it. So it's all right.
Russia invaded Ukraine. A lot of people are dead right now, much more than people know. You know, they talk about numbers. You can double those numbers, maybe triple those numbers. He did nothing to stop it. In fact, I think he encouraged Russia from going in. I'll tell you what happened. He was so bad with Afghanistan. It was such a horrible, embarrassing, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country that when Putin watched that and he saw the incompetence, and he should have fired those generals like I fired the one that you mentioned. And so he's got no love lost. But he should have fired those generals. No general got fired for the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, Afghanistan, where we left billions of dollars of equipment behind. We lost 13 beautiful soldiers, and 38 soldiers were obliterated. And by the way, we left people behind too. We left American citizens behind. When Putin saw that, he said, you know what? I think we're going to go in and maybe take this was his dream. I talked to him about it, his dream. The difference is he never would have invaded Ukraine. Never. Just like Israel would have never been invaded in a million years by Hamas. You know why? Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't let anybody do business with them. They ran out of money. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything. No money for terror. That's why you had no terror at all during my administration. This place, the whole world is blowing up under him.
President Biden?
Putin hurts so much more than my whole life. But the fact of the matter is that we're in a situation where, let's take the last point first. Iran attacked American troops, killed and caused brain damage for a number of these troops. But he did not give up. He said, not even the president. When they attacked, he said they just had a hiccups. That's all it was. He didn't do a thing when the attack took place, number one. Number two, we got over 100,000 Americans and others out of Afghanistan.
No, Richard, I haven't. I've never done on horror comics. I mean, I've never worked on any comics except my own stuff, really. I've done some work for some small microscopic publishers, and it's all been superhero stuff, but horror comics are not really my thing. It's not where I'm kind of interested in doing things.
That's what he wanted to reestablish. Key. And he, in fact, didn't do it at all. He didn't when they get it done. And they've lost thousands and thousands of troops. 500,000 troops.
President Trump,
I never said that.
For 1 minute, I just want to go back to my original question, which is, are Putin's terms acceptable to you? Keeping the territory in Ukraine?
No, they're not acceptable. But look, this is a war that never should have started. If we had a leader in this war, he led everybody along. He's given $200 billion now or more to Ukraine. He's given $200 billion. That's a lot of money. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. Every time that Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever. And I'm not knocking
What was the
him.
order? OK Comics. It was like ask,
The money that we're spending.
what am I working on, and then
We shouldn't be spending.
what was it? I know you mentioned it back when we first started.
We'll have that war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before I take office on January 20th. I'll have that war settled. People being killed so needlessly, so stupidly, and I will get it settled.
I'll explain when we get to step 3. He says, "Oh, that's so funny."
The fact is that Putin's a war criminal. He's killed thousands and thousands of people. And he has made one thing clear. He wants to reestablish what was part of the Soviet Empire. Not just a piece, he wants all of Ukraine. That's what he wants. And then you think he'll stop there? You think he'll stop when he takes Ukraine? What do you think happens with Poland? What do you think happens to those NATO countries? And so if you want a war, you ought to find out what he's going to do, because if in fact he does what he says and walks away, by the way, all that money we give Ukraine, the weapons we make here in the United States, we're giving the weapons, not the money at this point. And the NATO allies have produced as much funding for Ukraine as we have. That's why we're strong.
Thank you. Moving on to the Middle East. In October, Hamas attacked Israel, killing more than 1,000 people and taking hundreds of hostages. Among those held and thought to still be alive are 5 Americans. Israel's response has killed thousands of Palestinians and created a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. President Biden, you put forward a proposal to resolve this conflict, but so far Hamas has not released the remaining hostages, and Israel is continuing its military offensive in Gaza. So what additional leverage will you use?
It's a she. In the He-Man universe, she's this witch character called Shadow Weaver, and she's this evil witch character that's been kind of in the backgrounds of the story, and this is like the resolution between these two characters. If you know the lore of the old 80s He-Man cartoon, it makes sense if you've seen that. But that's what it's all kind of based on. Shiri? You say you are a great drawer? Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you.
I'm the guy that organized the war against Iran when they had a full-blown counter-ballistic missile attack on Israel. No one was hurt. No one is going to evacuate, killed, and it's stopped. We saved Israel. We are the biggest producer of support for Israel than anyone in the world. And so those are 2 different things. Hamas cannot allow it to continue. We continue to send our experts and our telling people how we can get Hamas like we did online. We don't have to do it. And by the way, we're illegal to Hamas. We're illegal to them. They should be. They should be wounded. But you've got to be careful for what you do.
Production commando, that's funny.
Let's go back to Ukraine for 1 second. We have an ocean separating us. The European nations together have spent $100 billion or maybe more than that, less than us. Why doesn't he call them and say, you got to put up your money like I did with NATO? I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO said, "Trump did the most incredible job I've ever seen." They wouldn't have any, they were going out of business. We were spending almost 100% of the money was paid by us. He didn't do that. He's getting on. You got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent, and it has a bigger impact on them because of location, because we have an ocean in between. You got to ask them as far as Israel and Hamas. Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one who wants to keep going.
Apple Sunshine, can you give some advice for beginners who want to make comics? Sure. Advice for people who want to make comics? It's hard work, because a lot of your time is just spent at a drawing board, whether a physical drawing board or a digital device. and just staring at another blank page that needs to be done. You know, it can be daunting, but you got to learn how to draw. You can't fake it. If you don't know how to draw, you know, you're gonna stand out, and it could be kind of laughable. So learn to draw from life, and then you can kind of change up your style to be cartoony or anime or American comic book stuff or whatever. But you got to learn to draw first, and then you got to have dedication to sit down and make the thing. It's fun. Have a story, write it out. But yeah, there's a lot of variables that go into it.
Independent Palestinian state in order to achieve peace in the region.
I have to see, but before we do that, the problem we have is that we spend all the money. So they kill us on trade, make their trade deals with the European nations. Because if you add them up, they're about the same size economically. Their economy is about the same size as the United States. And they were no cars, they don't want anything that we have. But we're supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their agriculture. I changed that. But the big thing I changed is they don't want to pay. And the only reason that he can play games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, and he's right about this, I said, no, I'm not going to support NATO if you don't pay. They asked me that question, would you guard us against Russia? At a very secret meeting of the 28 states at that time, or nations at that time. And they said, no, if you don't pay, I won't do that. But you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in the next day and the next month. But now we're in the same position. We're paying everybody's bills.
Let's turn to the issue of democracy. A former president.
But yeah, just it's fun, it's rewarding, but it's not easy. I mean, I think some people might have the wrong idea that making comics is like it's an easy thing. Just sit down and draw some superhero shit. Well, you know, if you want something to stand out.
What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world. All over the world, we were respected. And then he comes in, and we're now laughed at. We're like a bunch of stupid people. What happened to the United States' reputation under this man's leadership is horrible, including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point we'll be talking about, where he goes after his political opponent because he can't beat him fair and square.
You have 80 seconds left. My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary filmmaker, I think they say, but she's saying, oh no, it's my responsibility, I was responsible for this. Because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned it down. And the mayor, in writing, by the way, the mayor, in writing, turned it down, the mayor of D.C. He turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see, I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? That's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered to do it. And she now admits that she turned it down. And it was the same day she was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
He encouraged those folks to go to Capitol alone. I sat and went down in the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours. 3 hours watching, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, call for a stop, to end it. Instead, he talked about the big patriots and the great patriotism of America. In fact, he says he will not forgive them for what they did. Right? He got them convicted. He says he wants to commit 2 sentences. And saying, no, he went to every single court in the nation those other cases, scores of cases, in the Supreme Court, they said, no, this guy is responsible for doing what was done. He would do a damn thing, and these people should be in jail, and they should be arrested and held accountable. And he wants to let them all out, and now he says that we're going to gang such a whiner as he is, that they're going to bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
What they've done to some people that are so innocent, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What you have done, and you've destroyed the lives of so many people. When they ripped down Portland, when they ripped down many other cities, so you go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there, with the fires all over the city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look at all of they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set to bring in the National Guard. They heard that, they saw them coming, and they left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing, the Unselect Committee, which is basically two horrible Republicans that are all gone now out of office, and Democrats, all Democrats, they destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right. We were right. And they deleted and destroyed all of the information. They should go to jail for that. If a Republican did that, they'd go to
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is Leon. And the fact of the matter is, he's telling you simply not true. The fact is that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on at the Capitol Hill. And all those people, every one of those who were convicted, deserves to be convicted. The idea that they didn't kill somebody, and they broke down doors, broke the windows, occupied offices, turned over desks, turned over statues. The idea that those people are patriots? Come on. When I asked him what first two debates we had, the first time around, I said, will you denounce the Proud Boys? He said, no, I'll tell them to stand by. The idea he's refuting, when you denounce these guys, you denounce the people we're talking about now, you denounce the people who attacked that Capitol, what are you going to do?
I'm going to give you a minute, President Trump, for a follow-up question I had. After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the Select Committee on January 6th going to jail. When your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight, can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponents?
Well, I said my retribution is going to be successful and make this country successful again. Because right now,
Drawing eyes is problematic. Yeah, eyes are tricky.
it's going to be success. But
Sometimes it's just a matter of like learning like a visual shorthand
at a very high level. This
to kind of make it work.
numerous other times should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse in the most important thing. But he could be convicted.
But yeah, it's just anything that's hard. Male lips, difficult. Eyes, nose, everything with the human face is tricky. You know, that's none of it's simple.
We're going to want $1 billion, or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, let's quid pro quo. But we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with your son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. Well, do you want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you the first one.
The idea that I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie. Number two, the idea that you have the right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that. No president, no history spoken like that. Number three, the crimes that you are still charged with. Think about a civil penalty. How many $1 million do you know in civil penalty? For molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things, of having sex with a porn star, while your wife was pregnant. What are we talking about?
Apple Sunshine, you heard in order to succeed at something, you're going to have to suck at it. That's a fair statement. Like, you got to be bad. Like, you got to start learning, and you're going to be bad when you start. So, that's fair.
To the Manhattan DA's office, weeks to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what these cases are. But when they found out about these cases, you know what they did? My poll numbers went up way up. You know that because you're reporting it. And we took in more money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in the history of any campaign. I don't think any campaign has ever taken. Hundreds of millions of dollars came pouring in because the public knows it's a scam and it's a guy that's after his political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, quote, Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans are determined to destroy American democracy. Do you believe that the tens of millions of Americans who are likely to vote for President Trump will be voting against American democracy?
More they know about what he's done, yes. More they know about what he's done. He's not more proof. We've got a lot of cases now coming out. We've got a whole range of issues he has to face. I don't know what the jury will do, but I do know he has a real problem. And so the fact that you can never think you hear the president say that I'm going to seek retribution, never hear the president say that the fucking president that I do.
Yeah, you're right, Apple Sunshine. If you want to draw eyes, mouth, ears, or all of that kind of stuff, it's going to take determination and patience and always practice. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. That's exactly right. Brick Shop, you say, what part do you start with when you start drawing human figures? I mean, Brick, like if I'm gonna do a figure, like I always start kind of with like the head, but it's a loose gesture drawing of just lines to kind of determine where you want to position the body. So it's just a bunch of light, sketchy lines to kind of figure out where you want to go. It's more about, it's not like where do I start? Well, is it with the head or the eyes? It's the entire figure, but it's like roughing it out to get the pose right. And then from there you can kind of start building your figure. So I don't know if that answers your question, but it's all about that kind of gestural sketch to figure out what your figure is going to be doing and figure out the positioning of everything.
The worst presidents in the history of our country. We shouldn't be having a debate about it. There's nothing to debate. He made up the Charlottesville story, and you'll see it's debunked all over the place.
So it's kind of like that. You're just starting with just basic shapes to get the pose of the figure right. And then from there you can start doing the fun stuff, the final rendering.
It happened. All we have to do is listen to what was said at the time. And the idea that somehow that's the reason I ran.
I think if you look at any like instructional kind of how to draw videos or books or anything, that's always like just start with like a stick figure almost of what it is you want it doing. Get the pose right and just some basic stick figure shapes. And then build your figure, You just rough out that thing. That's kind of how all these pages start. Like this is almost a finished inked page, but like the next page, like you could see there's different levels of sketchiness. Like I haven't really finished up the faces in these or here, but I started more concerned about getting the angles of the arms and all the figures interacting, but it all starts out with like the sketching it out. I do thumbnails first. I do small drawings on small paper separately to figure this out. So I'm not trying to like work out the composition and the storytelling on the final board. I do it on small papers first and then come here and start figuring out the figures. So this is how they basically start. Got another page here. Shit. You can see these rough figures here. It's just a rough sketch of all these figures. different levels of
And you want to set them up for
sketching just to figure out the composition. That's how I think you can't, as dumb as, or as weird as it sounds, I know a lot of people that just want to go right to the final drawing from the instant they touch the paper. And I'm like, you can't do that. You have to build it up. You have to do it in layers. It's like building a house. You don't start with the paint and the furniture. You start with the concrete foundation. You build a foundation of concrete, then you build up the framework of the house, and you start building around it to come up with the finished product. And the framework is the stick figures, things like that. I hope that makes sense. Well, yeah, there's always exceptions, and there's the one, like, God amongst men artist, like you just mentioned there, Brick, for sure, 100%. But that man is beyond anything else. But he could do it. He just went straight to the board. Final line, right on the board. The most perfect perspective and detail and life and energy. It's unbelievable what that guy. Yeah, I know you're just kidding. It's not even close, is it? Let's see. I can tell you why his anatomy is off. He'll do a stick figure like this and then just blow it up to full size, and he just starts inking. He doesn't go in and take it and refine it and clean it up. And he just draws the same stock 7 poses over and over and over. So he doesn't push himself to learn.
Let's talk about consistent challenges you both faced in your first terms, and you'd certainly face again in the second term. President Biden, while black unemployment dropped to a record low under your presidency, black families still earn far less than white families. Black mothers are still 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes, and black Americans are imprisoned at 5 times the rate of white Americans. What do you say to black voters who are disappointed that you haven't made more progress?
We acknowledge we made a lot of progress. Thousands of years of small black businesses that have been started from any time in history. Number 2, the wages of black unemployment is the lowest level it's been in a long, long time. Number 3, we're trying to provide housing for black Americans, and we're dealing with the segregation that exists among these corporate operations that collude to keep people out of their houses. And in addition to that, we find that the impact on the choice that black families have to make relative to child care is incredibly difficult. When we did the first major piece of legislation in the past, I was able to reduce black child care costs by cutting in half.
Apple Sunshine, you say, what inspires you to keep motivation? First off, Apple Sunshine, I appreciate all your questions, man. You have some very thoughtful, questions. I appreciate it.
There's more to be done.
I don't know how to put it. It's just, there's a part of me that's like, I've finally reached an art level where I feel like it can produce something
Voters who are
that,
disappointed with the progress so far.
is not. I'm not going to embarrass myself completely, but like I was saying earlier, there's a couple things where it's like I've had a million ideas in my head, and I've had story ideas and imagined hundreds of different types of stories and ideas and dramatic moments, and they just never are going to happen unless I make it happen. So I decided one day when I started this thing, I'm like, just make it, just go. And I get a good reward out of it when I see it done. For example, I always have to show these off, but I've got 5 volumes of this book done.
And he's right, it's been very bad. He caused the inflation.
I have this story that people can read.
Hispanic families.
I got, and they're like graphic novel size. See how big they are? I don't make small 20-page floppy comics. I make
You look at the
80-page minimum comics. So that's book 1.
can't live. They're not-
There's book 2.
He caused this inflation. I gave him
Book 3.
essentially no inflation. It was perfect. It was so good. All you had to do is leave it alone.
And
It was
book
good.
4,
It was green new
front
sky,
cover,
all of
back
that-
cover.
All this money that's being thrown out the window.
And then book 5, the one I just finished up last year.
The fact is that
It's awesome. Part of the motivation is that I've drawn this and I can give people a story and have them read it, as opposed to talking about the thing that I wish I could do or I'm gonna do. I've actually done it. And that's the motivation, especially as I get going. And I'm so close to being done with this story. 6 volumes. It's kind of, I don't know how else to say this, but I'm kind of proud of myself for finishing it, you know? I'm kind of proud of myself for getting through it and showing that I can do this.
With no jobs, providing thousands of millions of jobs for individuals who are involved communities, including minority communities. We made sure that health.
Mr. Green, the dialogue will help, but She-Ra is ripping the mask off this girl here. So only She-Ra's one side of her face is burned. Yes, you are 100% correct. But this is not She-Ra, because I haven't drawn it, because like She-Ra's got her hand around her throat. I'm gonna get a friend to do some art reference for me so I can draw the hand on here. But that's what this going on here is this mask that she's wearing is being ripped off, and she's like this ugly old haggard woman too. I was actually thinking about that, how now they're both kind of burned, but in the story, in the lore, this character Shadow Weaver raised this girl from infancy, so it's almost mother-daughter. So it's almost like now they almost look like each other. By the time this battle is over, they kind of look similar, and it's like coming full circle, and She-Ra's freaking out. So Mr. Green, you're right. Thank you for checking. I appreciate it. You're not wrong.
Your opponent's climate initiatives, but will you take any action as president to slow the
Richard, have you ever thought about doing animation? Absolutely not. No interest in animation. It's too slow. It takes too long to get a few frames of story in when I could sit here and draw 120 pages and tell a story. Animation's amazing. I will never touch it. I have no interest in it because I don't have the time to waste to come up with 5 seconds of animation. Do you know what I mean? So just no interest from me. No sign of Z inspiring. I'm in the infant stages of making my own graphic novel. Awesome, man. Make that story. Like someone was just asking me, what's motivation? It's just like, it's so gratifying when you get it done and you make it and you're like, oh, I did this thing. I know I keep harping on it and I should shut up about it because it gets old to hear me say it, but so many people talk about what they're gonna do. I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna do this. Like, sure. So make your story, man. Darren Fairchild, got any advice for people trying to build a portfolio? Well, a portfolio for what? What's your goal? Portfolio to... I need a little more information there, Fairchild. A portfolio for what? Comics?
President Trump, will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
So I want absolutely immaculate clean water, and I want absolutely clean air, and we have it We have H2O.
Yeah, Brick Shop. If you start something, you're kind of already ahead of people. Yeah, that's true. I kind of preach that. I try to, like, you know, it's one thing to be inspiring. I've had some people say, like, you know, what you're doing is inspiring to me. But I also want to point out, like, you know, now that you're inspired, go create. Go make a thing. You know, if anybody ever listened to Kevin Smith's speeches about creating stuff, you know, he talked about how, like, he had to watch his father die a horrible death after living a good life, and that his father died a horrible, painful, miserable death. And it was a lesson that Kevin Smith took. He's like, God damn, is life short? You're like, it's not going to get easier. Life is short. You don't know. You might check out tomorrow. There's no reason to not do the thing you want to do. Just start making it. Even if you don't think you're good enough. My art's not good enough. My story's not there. Just keep working at it. Start making the thing. You might surprise yourself. You might shock yourself with how interesting you might be able to make it. But just don't let time waste away. Don't let time just disappear. It might seem like there's infinite time, but Holy Lord, is there not? I mean, I'm 47, you know, in 6 months I'll be, you know, 48. I'm only a couple of years away from 50 years old. And I've been thinking about doing this type of shit my entire life. And I'm like, only now creating this thing, you know? You have to just develop those skills and keep going and keep drawing. But don't let time get away from you. You know, life is short, and you don't know what kind of horrible things could be coming. Make your stuff. So, yeah. And that's another part of it. Richard, you say, did Kevin Smith have a heart attack? He did. And he was sitting there on his deathbed and thinking about, I could die. I could have died. I should have died, but I didn't. It's time to, like, just keep going. Because, again, he watched his dad die a miserable death. And, but he's just like, make the thing. Don't wait. Make the thing, everybody. Darren Fairchild for comics. It's the portfolio. How do you advise to make a portfolio for comics? Here's the advice. Go make comics. The end. There's no other, there's nothing else. It just comes to that. Make comics. Learn to draw. Draw pages. Like Todd McFarlane, one of the biggest artists of the 90s and still making Spawn comics today, he sent in 300 samples to a publisher before he was accepted. Jim Lee, the artist on the biggest selling American comic of all time, he would just get up every day, walk right to his desk, and start drawing and start learning how to draw. You build your portfolio by making the thing. Don't worry about, like, what do I need to look professional? Do I need to have certain... Just draw comics, dude. Just make them. Just start going. That's the hard part. Just make it. And the first part is, we were just talking about this, you've got to learn how to draw. And do not learn to draw from comics. Learn to draw from life. Learn how to draw the human figure. Learn how to draw everything. You got to draw young, old, aliens, regular people in business suits, superheroic, muscular bodies, animals, dogs, cats, furniture, cars, planes. You got to learn to do it all if you want to draw comics. So, you know, just start drawing. Start and draw from life. Learn how to draw from life. Don't pick up your favorite manga comic book and start reproducing that and have that be the only thing you do. Learn from everywhere, and then you can develop your style and your kind of unique vision. That'll work. That'll come. Yeah. Half scarred face, babe, right? Yeah, you gotta learn how to draw that. Yeah, draw more comics. The immortal words of the boys. Make more comics. Just make them, you know? So that's the most succinct version of advice I can give about if you want to learn to draw or a portfolio or whatever. Just make the thing. Just make comics.
see, as I said, you're in a circumstance where 400,000 people, 40 million people do not have insurance because they have a pre-existing condition. Only allows them to have that insurance is the fact that they, in fact, are part of the ACA. And by the way, the other thing is, in a situation where I talk about education for black communities, I've raised the amount of money for Pell Grants another $8,000. So anybody making under $70,000 a year will be able to get $15,000 toward the tuition. You just don't know what he's talking about.
Thank you, President Trump.
So I've dealt with politicians all my life. I've been on this side of the equation for the last 8 years. I've never seen anybody lie like this guy. He lies. I've never seen it. He can look you in the face. I've got so many other things too. And we mentioned the laptop. We mentioned Russia, Ukraine. And everything he does is a lie. It's misinformation and disinformation. The losers and suckers story that he made up is a total lie on the military. It's a disgrace.
Thanks, Apple Sunshine.
He's destroying it.
Say you subscribed. I appreciate that very much. Darren Fairchild, you say I've been drawing pages. I have a difficult time keeping consistent. Like today, I drew 2 pages of people fishing and a page of a dinosaur hunting. I just sketch and I use my G pen, all you know to do. I mean, that's fine. That's just start with whatever tool you want to use. Just keep going. Just keep drawing, and then you're going to get better and better and better and refine it. Eventually, if you want to make comics, whether you're making it on physical paper like me or do it digitally, you're going to have to kind of learn how to refine your style to draw figures and make your images clear. But the more you put pen on paper or pencil, the more times that drawing utensil is touching a surface and you're drawing lines, you're learning. You're learning something. Even if you're just kind of scribbling, just kind of like practice scribbling and doing textures and just random lines. That's learning. You know, it's all something. So just keep doing it, you know. No sign of Z. You said you started drawing like last month just looking at Akira, but I realized that learning to draw from manga isn't a good idea. It's not a good idea. There's something to learn, but that's jumping to step 452. You need to start at step 1, which is learning to draw a human figure realistically, and then you can distort it and abstract it and make it unique and stylized in an anime style. But you can't just go to anime and like, I'm going to draw like this, because you will stand out as fake. You really, really will. You're good, Darren Fairchild. I get it. You also take them and put them on the computer, add tones and bubbles. I just couldn't fit my whole process in a single comment. I get you. Yeah, just keep doing that. Just keep making comics. It depends on what your ultimate goal is, man. I mean, if you want to get hired by Marvel Comics, I mean, it's going to be tricky because there are working professionals with years of experience not getting work. But you can make a presence online, and you could make your presence known that way and build up your own audience. That's what I've done. I'm a nobody. I've never been hired for a company. I'm no good. But I've got a little bit of an audience, and some people are looking at my stuff. So that's the one thing you got really going in your favor is social media and the ability to reach people. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, stupid TikTok. You know, there's all kinds of ways to get seen. And again, it just depends on what do you want. Do you want to draw comics for Marvel or DC? You know, or do you want to just make comics and get them into people's hands and make people or let people see them? It just depends on what you want, but it's a long process to get up to a skill level where any of the big publishers would even begin to look at you, because there's so many good artists out there.
He wants our country to either be destroyed or he wants to pick up those people as voters. And I don't think we just can't let it happen. If he wins this election, our country doesn't have a chance, not even a chance, of coming out of this rut. We probably won't have a country left anymore. That's how bad it is. He's the worst in history by far.
We are the most admired country in the world. We're the United States of America. There's nothing beyond our capacity. We're the finest military in the history of the world. The finest in the history of the world. No one thinks we're good. No one wants to screw them over. Nobody in the world. Number two, the idea that we're talking about worst president. I wasn't joking. Look it up if I don't know. 159, or 58, I don't know the exact number, presidential historians, they had meetings and they voted. He was the worst president in American history. One to best to worst. They said he was the worst in all of American history. That's a fact. That's not conjecture. You can argue they're wrong, but that's what they voted. The idea that he is doing anything to deal with child care, he did virtually nothing with child care. We should significantly increase the child care tax credit. We should significantly increase the availability of women and men, of single parents to be able to go back to work. And we should encourage businesses to have.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, the question was about what would you do to make child care more affordable, if you want to take a minute.
Just so you understand, we have Poland, we have other things that they rate him the worst because what he's done is so bad. And they rate me, I'll show you, I will show you, and they rate me one of the best, okay? And if I'm given another 4 years, I will be the best. I think I'll be the best. Nobody's ever created an economy like us. Nobody ever cut taxes like us. He's the only one I know. He wants to raise your taxes by 4 times. He wants to raise everybody's taxes by 4 times. He wants the Trump tax cuts to expire. So everybody, including the two of you, are going to pay 4 to 5 times. Nobody ever heard of this before. All my life I grow up and I see politicians talking about cutting taxes. When we cut taxes, as I said, we did more business.
Thanks, Richard. I appreciate it.
They were bringing money back into our country. The worst president in history by far.
Yeah, and Apple Sunshine, you're right. You got to learn to draw everything around you. You got to draw from life first, then branch out. Then that'll work.
Taxes on middle class people. I said I never raised the taxes on anybody making less than $25. I didn't. This tariff is 10% tax. Everything coming in the country, you know what the economists say? That's going to cost the average American $2,500 a year more because of not the pay the difference in food and all the things that are important. Number two, he's in a situation where he talks about how he has not raised, he's somehow helped the middle class. The middle class has been devastated by it. Now you want a new tax cut of $5 trillion over the next 10 years, which is going to fundamentally bankrupt the country. We have the largest deficit of any president in American history, number one. Number two, we have not, in fact, made any contact, any progress with China. We are the lowest trade deficit with China since 2010.
Thank you, President Biden. Thank you, President Biden. Let's discuss an epidemic impacting millions of Americans that both of you have made a top priority in your first term, the opioid crisis. And for both of you, the number of overdose deaths in this country has gone up. Under your term, it went up. Under your term, it has gone up. Former President Trump, despite the efforts that both of you have made, more than 100,000 Americans are dying from overdoses every year, primarily from fentanyl and other opioids. What will you do to help Americans right now in the throes of addiction who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
To finish up, I think we now have the largest deficit in the history of our country under this guy. We have the largest deficit with China. He gets paid by China. He's a Manchurian candidate. He gets money from China. So I think he's afraid to deal with them or something. But you notice he never took out my tariffs because we bring in so much money with the tariffs that I imposed on China. He never took them away. He can't because it's too much money. It's tremendous. And we saved our steel industries and there was more to come. But he hasn't done that. But he hasn't cut the tariffs because he can't, because it's too much money. But he's got the largest deficit in the history of our country, and he's got the worst situation with China. China's going to own us if you keep allowing them to do what they're doing to us as a country. They are killing us as a country, Joe, and you can't let that happen. You're destroying our country.
So, President Trump, you have 67 seconds left. The question was, what are you going to do to help Americans in the throes of addiction right now who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
Jake, we were doing very well in addiction until the COVID came along. We had 2.5, almost 3 years of like nobody's ever had before, any country, in every way. And then we had to get tough, and it was the drugs pouring across the border. started to increase. We got great equipment. We bought a certain dog that's the most incredible thing that you've ever seen, the way they can spot it. We did a lot, and we were getting very low numbers, very, very low numbers. Then he came along. The numbers, have you seen the numbers now? It's not only the 18 million people that I believe is even low, because the gotaways, they don't even talk about gotaways. But the numbers of the amount of drugs and human trafficking in women coming across our border, the worst thing I've ever seen, at numbers that nobody's ever seen under him because the border's so bad. But the number of drugs coming across our border now is the largest we've ever had by far.
President Trump, thank you. President Biden.
Fentanyl and byproduct fentanyl went down for a while. And I wanted to make sure we use the machinery that can detect fentanyl. These big machines that roll over when it comes across the border. And it costs a lot of money. That was part of this deal we put together. This bipartisan deal. More fentanyl machines, more able to detect drugs, more the numbers of agents, more numbers of all over the border. And when we had that deal done, we called this Republican Congress and said, don't do it. It's going to hurt me. But he never argued it's not a good bill. It's a really good bill. We need those machines. We need those machines. And we're coming down very hard in every country in Asia in terms of precursors for fentanyl. And Mexico is working with us to make sure they don't have the technology to be able to put it together. That's what happens. We need those machines.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, and again, the question is about Americans in the throes of addiction right now, struggling to get the treatment they need.
This does pertain to. He ended remain in Mexico. He ended catch and release. I made a catch and release in Mexico, not catch and release here. We had so many things that we had done. Hard negotiations with Mexico. They got it all for nothing. It's just like when we have a hostage. We always pay $6 billion for every time we say a hostage. Now we have a hostage, a Wall Street Journal reporter. I think a good guy, and he's over there because Putin is laughing at this guy, probably asking for billions of dollars for the reporter. I will have him out very quickly as soon as I take office. Before I take office, I said by literally as soon as I win the election, I will have that reporter out. He should have had him out a long time ago. But Putin's probably asking for billions and billions of dollars because this guy pays it every time. We had 2 cases. We paid $6 million for 5 people. I got 58 people out, and I paid essentially nothing.
Thank you, President Trump. Dan?
Let's turn to concerns that voters have about each of you. President Biden, you would be 86 at the end of your 2nd term. How do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
First of all, I spent half my career because I was the youngest person in politics. I was the 2nd youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger, with a lot less company. I think if you look at the record, look at what I've done, I've turned around a horrible situation with record. I said 15 million new jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, more investment in America, over billions of dollars of private investment in enterprises, and we are growing. We're proud of it. We brought an awful lot of people, and the whole idea of computer chips reached that 40% of the market. We invented those chips, and we lost it because he was sending people to find the cheapest jobs overseas and they bring home a product. So I went to South Korea. I convinced Samsung to invest billions of dollars here in the United States. And then, guess what? Those fabs, they call them, to deliver these chips, those fabs pay over $100,000. They don't need to call it to do that.
Thanks for stopping in, Brick Shop. I appreciate it.
$40 billion already being invested and being built right now in the United States, creating significant jobs for Americans from all over the world.
President Biden, you have 40 seconds left. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would. The idea that somehow we are this failing country. I've never heard a president talk like this before. We're the envy of the world, maybe a single major country president with a trade policy with the United States of America. All our problems and all our opportunities. We're the most progressive country in the world in getting things done. We're the strongest country in the world. We're a country in the world that keeps our word, and everybody trusts us. All of our allies and our those who he calls up to Kim Jong-un, we sent love letters to Putin, etc. They don't want to screw around with us.
Thank you. Former President Trump, to follow up, you would be 82 at the end of your second term. What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like go through the first 5 questions he couldn't do. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year. And, you know, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced him. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took
Apple Sunshine, you say, we see the page you're working on? I mean, I'm working on this one. What do you mean, can you see the page we're working on? Or this one? Are you just, this thing I'm fiddling around with over here? Sorry, if that's what you mean. I'm kind of fiddling with this. I had to do some touch up. I didn't quite get this figure the way I wanted it to. Sorry if that's what you mean. Yeah, I inked this one last night. Yeah, gotcha. Sorry, I misunderstood. Okay, comics, have I compared my first pages to your last ones? Like, you talking about the first pages in book 1 as compared to the current pages at the end of book 6?
I see this way better than this one.
Let's
not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to turn
Let's not act like children.
to a specific concern that voters have about you. Will you pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins, and you will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable?
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter...
I mean, I haven't like got them out and looked at them, but I'm pretty familiar with them. Like this is book 1, and you know some of these pages I drew quite a long time ago, and I do see some significant differences. I've grown. There's part of me that kind of wishes I could redraw these, but you know it's done. I don't know. You know, you get better, you grow, you change your style. You look back at your old stuff and you're like, man, I could do better now, but
because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here.
I did some marker gray tones on these first pages, just trying to go for a different style, but I abandoned it pretty quick.
We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation.
But I'm a better figure artist. I think I'm better at storytelling. I think I'm better at composition, which, you know, you better be. If you're drawing, you know, you better be getting better the more time that goes on.
And we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are very, very close to World War III, and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these Putin, they don't respect him, they don't fear him, they have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
World War III. Then you follow what you want and just do what you want later. Just do what you want. Just do Article 5. Attack on one is attack on all. Required response. Bad idea. I can't think of a single major leader in the world who would try to place a job like that.
Apple Sunshine, I have copies that I just physically have. You just have to basically hit me up. I've got an Instagram page. I've got 5 volumes done. And again, like I was saying, if you were here, you know, they're all pretty thick.
Like, they're all at least this thick. It's not a little skinny book. But I've got them.
President Trump
My brother, who's got his own YouTube channel, he kind of joins me on mine on occasion. He drew a couple of chapters in the first 3 volumes. There's some pages in here by my brother, but the majority of it is me. But I've got them. I basically asked $20 a book. I know that gets expensive when I've got 5 of them, soon to be 6. But, you know, some people like to pick up just one, the first one, and see how it goes. Some people like, because the first 3, trying to show them here, the first 3, these are like one story. It's kind of like a complete story in books 1 through 3. And then books 4, 5, and then the forthcoming 6, they all tie into it, but it's kind of like starting a new storyline, focusing on other characters, but then it all ties back to what goes on in the first one. So it's all one big story. But yeah, it's basically, if anyone's interested, like Apple Sunshine, I've got an Instagram page you can contact me on. There's a Facebook page. I think I've got my contact information in my YouTube page description here. The Discord channel, if anyone wants to see that, just kind of contact me, and basically we just call it a donation to the channel, and I'll just put them in the mail and send them to you.
It would be much easier for me to do that than running again. I wasn't really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else, in a nice location someplace. And again, no indictments, no political opponent stuff, because it's the only way he thinks he can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up by numbers and driven them up to a very high level, because the people understand it.
We'll see what your numbers are when this election is over. Let's see. In the morning, when you lost the first time, you continued to appeal to the political courts all across the country. Not one single court in America.
I do need to set up like an Etsy shop or something like that. I've had people ask me, like, a place where people can go and just get copies of my stuff or original artwork or prints or things like that. I really need to look into setting things like that up. I'm kind of behind the ball on a lot of that stuff because I'm always sitting here just trying to make the damn books. I do have to work a full-time job, like most of us, you know what I mean? And just trying to find the time to do everything is difficult. Okay, comics, you notice a consistent style. I have a very British style. I've never had anybody say that to me. I sort of know what that means, but I sort of don't. If I could have a style that mimicked anybody, I mean, if I could look like Mark Silvestri or Adam Hughes or Mike Mignola, I would be happy. I'm always kind of bouncing back and forth, but those are the only guys that I really know because that's what I grew up on. But I appreciate the compliments, though. I really, really do. Yeah, Mignola, he's so good. There's so much to learn from him. Apple Sunshine, you say my art reminds me of Spawn. Well, thank you. I like McFarlane a lot. In fact, sometime in the next week or two, I'm going to be doing an art review on this massive ass book right here. Let me back my camera up. It's not Spawn, but it is The Art of Todd McFarlane. And I'm going to flip it open towards the back where it's got the Spider-Man stuff that was the most recent stuff that he did before he moved on to Spawn. But yeah, this I love these art books. Printing the artwork at full size, the size that McFarlane himself drew it in. So inspiring. Looking at all the ink lines that he does. You can even see the blue pencil. Like, there's blue pencil. I use blue pencil. It's the same thing. This stuff is just so great. So yeah, I kind of can't wait to sit down and put this book review up on my channel. Yeah, this McFarlane book is huge. Let's see, look at that. This is kind of inspiring because I know that back in the day, McFarlane inked with the tool just like this. It's the Hunt 102. And that's where he gets all these fine lines in here. That's is where his line work comes from. And you could just, when you see this stuff blown up at full size, I remember when I was younger looking at the Spawn comics, because these pages are reduced down in size to standard comic book size, and you see these fine lines. I'm like, how does a man get this kind of line work? I didn't understand how comics were made. I didn't understand the tools, how big the paper was. In fact, some of these pages, they call it twice up. It's a little bit bigger than standard comic book size stuff, so he gave himself a bigger drawing surface. And then once you get the Hunt 102 here, you can understand how he'd get these lines in here, all these fine lines and this noodling and all this stuff that he does. And then once it reduces down, it just becomes this really fine, hyper-detailed stuff that looks so good. How about it's a double-page spread of Ghost Rider busting through. Got the whole front end of his motorcycle right here. I mean, this isn't a Spider-Man comic, but tell me that isn't like just proto-Spawn stuff right there. Like, you could just see him prepping. Like, that could be Spawn with the pointy eyes and the tattered ass cape thing. I especially like these blast lines in the background and these like round bubbly circle shapes that he threw in there. Kind of weird. Ghost Rider coming up behind him, the flames just coming off Ghost Rider's motorcycle there. And I gotta say, I know, you know, it's controversial-ish to say, but McFarlane is my favorite version of Spider-Man. I just feel like that's the character he was born to draw, and he's never looked better. Just so exciting. But yeah, I'm gonna have to wrap this up here real quick. I've been going for 2.5 hours, and I gotta do some other stuff before the night gets too late. God, look at that shot of Spider-Man. Jai Deep, bro, what's up, man? Look at that shot of Spider-Man. Like, tell me that isn't inspiring. So damn good. All that webbing, that hand, this foot coming forward.
Like so many politicians, this man is just a complaint. Who's it make out of the roost? They want to go back, they want to do the roost tax, that tax. And it doesn't do anything. It doesn't make our country unsafe by allowing millions and millions of people to pour in. Our military doesn't respect them. They look like fools in Afghanistan. They didn't stop Israel. It was such a horrible thing that would have never happened. It should never happen. Iran was broke. Anybody that did business with Iran, including China, they couldn't do business with the United States. They all taxed.
This page is kind of interesting because this is inked by Scott Williams, the guy who inks Jim Lee all the time. This page is inked by Scott Williams, it says right on it. So it's got a different look, a different style, a little bit sharper kind of ink work going on. But man, it still looks good.
JD, oh, black and white McFarlane pages. Yeah, it's an art book. I'm going to be reviewing this on my channel soon. Apple Sunshine, I tend to do them at least Monday through Friday, every day, round about 6 or 7 o'clock Mountain Time where I live. So round about the time that this one has been going, I usually do them every day, weekdays. Saturdays, I tend to do them with my buddy Jessica. She would normally be on this with me tonight, but she had some stuff come up and she couldn't join me for a dual live art stream. So she's, got other stuff to take care of tonight. But we try to do them on Thursdays and then Saturdays. So tomorrow, probably about the same time, honestly, 6 or 7 o'clock. Always love this close-up of Wolverine's face. All these lines in here. It's unbelievable that somebody could draw that much stuff in there when I was learning to draw.
Thank you, former President Trump, President Biden. Stay with us because we have full analysis of this debate. Anderson Cooper and Aaron Burnett start now. Please go ahead. And so the first presidential debate of the 2024.
Sorry, I just get so wrapped up into these things. I just get quiet and I just start staring at them and just going, oh my God, look how good this is. Look at that. I mean, that's Morbius, but isn't that something right out of Spawn? Right there?
Bluetooth pairing.
God, that's so good. I think it's unfortunate that McFarlane went all digital anymore. I get it. I get why he does. And his artwork honestly hasn't lost anything, in my opinion. Some people switch to digital, and I don't like it as much. His artwork looks just as good, but it's just kind of a bummer to me that there's no more physical, real pages being created by McFarlane anymore. He just doesn't do it. And I like physical art. I like physical media. Yeah, I gotta scoot this one over. Look at this page over here on this other side. Another one of Morbius standing. Look, that's just Spawn, right? Except long hair. The big Dracula collars. Oh yeah, and then we get into covers. Chuck, how's it going, man? You kind of wish you hadn't bought this book? Is it because it's so damn big? It's hard to put it anywhere? I think it's basically the same size as that Jim Lee XXX thing that was not that awesome. It is huge. I do sit here with all these artist editions now going, where the hell am I going to keep them? But they haven't worn out their welcome for me quite yet, but I can see it getting that way. I love it when they zoom in on the artwork like this. Like this is like blown up I don't know how many times, but just getting to see all these ink lines up close like that, it's so neat. Yeah, I gotta kick this out of the way. Ugh. This giant's basically a table. I don't know, Chuck. They look basically the same size. at least as far as height. They're basically the same, but they are so huge. Yeah. Width-wise, though, how about that? Let me. It's hard to do. Oh my God, it's so heavy. Yeah, they're basically the same size. Somebody had asked me if the Spider-Man book was the same size as the X-Men. I was like, no, it's not as big. But then I was looking at them like, oh my God, they actually are the same size. They're so huge. So yeah, they could be basically tables. I have slight buyer's regret on this one, Chuck, like you were talking about, because the artwork is not printed nearly as at a high resolution as it should have been. So, but I'm like, I've got it. I'll just hold on to it, and I don't know, maybe I'll offload it some other time in the future, but yeah, a coffee table book that turns into a coffee table. Yeah. This is more what I wanted to see, which we get in that X-Men artist edition, but yeah, enlarged comics from the print. It's some places is a lot worse than others, you know. It's like super obvious in some places. Anyway, yeah. Ugh. I love the 90s era Psylocke. I prefer her over the purple-haired British version any day. Ugh. Yeah, Chuck, some people are way into it because they're in color and they could give a shit about resolution. Those are people who don't know. I'm about ready to wrap it up there, D-Man. That's why I busted out the art book real quick. I just finished inking, well, mostly finished. I did that. I inked this tonight. But I got a friend who's going to reference for me for the hand around the throat here. I was faking it, and it wasn't looking right. So I got to get some reference for the hand choking her. But I inked this one tonight. So did my page a day at least. But it's crazy how big this arts edition is, even next to a real, 11 by 17 page. Whew. Awesome, Chuck. Yeah, man, it kind of is a bummer when I was on my lunch break today and your stream died or whatever happened if the connection just went out. That stuff you're doing looked fantastic. Yeah, it was great. I can't wait to see them, man. They're all looking great. And I do know I need to get more to you ASAP. I'm working at it. You know I am. Every day I'm working at them. So I'll have them in your hands soon. Thanks, Jai Deep. Yeah, I haven't busted out the scanner yet. The goal is this, tomorrow or Saturday. But yeah, exactly. Having the scanner here, I can just draw it and just scan it, send it for sure. Definitely looking forward to that ease. Yeah, someone saying you're the jinx in the system, isn't it? We were talking about that. It didn't happen this time, someone's saying, so maybe the jinx is up, right? Yeah, I kept faking this hand. So I've got this friend who's this muscle girl. She's gonna. I said I need to reference. I need your hand choking someone out. She's like, all right. I'm like, that's right. Okay, but anyways, I do gotta get going, guys. I've been going since 6, 7, geez, almost 3 hours. Jesus. So yeah, I'll be on again tomorrow. So yeah, I'll be doing the same. So I'm gonna run, guys. I appreciate everyone who stopped in. Thanks, Chuck, Mark, D-Man, Kevin, someone saying, anyone else who I'm forgetting? Any of the new folks that stopped in? Apple Sunshine, I don't know if you're still there, but thank you for stopping in. See everybody later. Appreciate it. Thank you, Apple Sunshine. You too. Thanks for stopping in. Good conversations, Apple Sunshine. I appreciated it. So, see you guys later.